Hey everybody, welcome back. Really nice to see you guys again. Today I wanted to keep it pretty chill. I wanted to cover unreleased Pokemon. So these are all Pokemon that were drawn up and either never included or redesigned and later introduced to Pokemon series. It's a pretty interesting list. Most of them are going to be pictures because there's not a whole lot of information on them. But I got a little bit of information to go with each one. I think it'll be interesting. So yeah, let me know if you guys liked it because this is a pretty cool topic in my opinion. First up, guys, we have a Pokemon named Buhi. Now, it debuted in Capsule Monsters. If you're not familiar with what Capsule Monsters is, it's the very first rendition of Pokemon. Before Pocket Monsters was Pocket Monsters, it was called Capsule Monsters. So anything that debuted in Capsule Monsters, these are all drawings that happened before Red and Green were made in Japan. So Buhi is this little thing, not really sure if it's a dog thing. Its number is 124, which is the same as Jynx's in the Pokedex currently. This does not look a bit like Jynx. So, yeah, I don't know what happened there. It is interesting to note that Caterpie's index number in the first generation games is 124 as well, and you can see stronger resemblance between the two. The tail, the hands kinda, maybe the antenna and the ears. I mean, it's not great, but it's much closer than Jynx. So that's Buhi. Next up, Papio. Now this thing also debuted in Capsule Monsters. It's kind of like a frog with like a spider body, but only 6 legs, like insect body. Its Pokedex number is 211, which is the same as Quillfish. So maybe those things coming out of its body are supposed to be spikes. I don't know. There's not a whole lot of resemblance here either. Maybe the mouth. Like if you look at the mouth's kind of similar, sorta. I mean, not that Papio is drawn to much detail, but that is pretty interesting to note, especially because he got up to 211. This was before, Pokemon was released as Pokemon. So he clearly probably got cut, but Quillfish has taken up that spot now, so that's cool. Next up, we have this random Pokemon. Oviparous just means, born of an egg, lays eggs. This debuted in Capsule Monsters. So what's interesting here is that the theory of, having Pokemon hatch from eggs started all the way from the first generation, before the first generation even was created. If you guys have a guess as to what Pokemon that looks like to you, go ahead and leave it in the comment section. I'd love to see what you guys think it is. I don't know. There's no right answer. I just thought maybe if you guys want to hypothesize, like, oh, that looks kind of like a blah 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 head, then yeah, that'd be cool. But there's not really much known here. I just want to point out that Pokemon Eggman, that's some OG, I was going to say a bad word, stuff. Next up, and probably my favorite, is this duo of Godzelante and Goro. Godzelante on the left, Goro on the right, debuted in Capsule Monsters. Now, guys, Godzelante may very well have been based on Godzilla due to the same name. It's, the same name. Godzelante does share a notable resemblance to one of the fake Pokemon toys shown in the Pokemon Pocket Monsters manga, Volume 1 on page 107. You see inside that red circle, you got that horn. It's kind of reptilian. If I go back real quick, very similar. Very similar. So I thought that's probably an Easter egg they put into the manga, which is pretty cool. Now, also the Japanese name of Tyranitar, which is Bangiras, is also based on Godzilla. So I would not be surprised if Godzelante ended up becoming Tyranitar. And as you can see, they have a lot of similarities in their structure itself. Now, as far as Goro goes, not much is known about him or her. Its hat could be a reference to the character Ninten from Mother, which is Ness. As you can see, like the hat's turned the same way. He's got the same lines on it. Later generations of Pokemon have had many monkey-like Pokemon. Slacking is perhaps the most similar to Goro. If you look at the HP, I know it's a little bit blurry, but at 500, if Tyranitar's at 400, 500 is a massive amount of HP. So does Slacking have a massive amount. And if you look at Slacking's head, he's got that line coming down the front, which is similar to the hat line that that Goro had. So I would not be surprised if that got moved over and they just left the line in as reference to the fact that he used to have a hat as Goro. That's just speculation, though. That's not proven. Now we have Dragon 4. This guy also debuted in Capsule Monsters, and his name apparently is Dragon 4. Pokedex number 174 is the same as Igglybuff's. That thing does not look like Igglybuff to me whatsoever. It looks a frick ton like Charizard. Tacked on the fact that apparently he knows Fire Breath, so probably not Igglybuff. Next we have Kurusu, probably butchering all of these names, I'm sorry. If you speak Japanese, I am so sorry. Now Kurusu debuted in the Gold and Silver beta, so now we're out of the Capsule Monster debut. We're into Generation 2 before it was released. And in the alpha demo of Gold and Silver, this Pokemon's national Pokedex number was 212, and it knew the moves Growl, Water Gun, and Tackle. Now what's really interesting is that 212 is Scissor's number, right? But despite its Pokedex number, this was the Water type starter in the demo. So if you played the alpha version and you picked the Water starter, it was Kurusu instead of Totodile. Next we have Honoguma. Now this is also pretty cool. It debuted in the Gold and Silver beta as well. But in the alpha version, it was the Fire type starter and knew the moves Ember, Scratch, and Leer. So these were your Fire and Water starters in the alpha. They came a long way to become Cyndaquil and Totodile. But this Pokemon's name is a combination of Hono, I'm so sorry people who speak Japanese, which means flame, and Kuma, which means bear. So like Fire Bear. Definitely fitting for a Fire type starter. To round us out, we have two unnamed creatures. This one was on the front, guys. This one has a really strong resemblance to a Pokemon you probably know. Hitmontop. Now, this Pokemon debuted in Gold and Silver beta as well, but due to its size, as you can see, it's kind of more bulky. It's unlikely that it was originally part of the Tyrogue evolution line. More likely, this Pokemon was redesigned. They put the spinny thing on its head, turned it upside down, and made it more lengthy, like langy. That's probably not even a word, but you know what I'm saying. To make it more relevant to Tyrogue and more applicable for it to evolve into it. But as of right now, it's just some 6-footed, weird Clefairy face ass spinny thing. And finally, we have an unnamed turtle. Now guys, this shares a striking resemblance to a Pokemon we already know. I'm sure it won't take you long to make a guess. But this guy right here. This Pokemon debuted in Gold and Silver beta as well, and has a strong resemblance to Turtoga, which didn't come out for us until Generation 5, so if this Pokemon did eventually become Turtoga, which it very clearly looks like, it took a long time for him to come about and finally get released. I mean, that's from Gold and Silver all the way to Gen 5. That's 3 generations, not including the Gold and Silver release itself. So guys, that rounds us out for the unreleased Pokemon, unused, all that good stuff. If you guys liked it, think about hitting that subscribe button if you're new here. If you're not and you liked it and you've been here before, you are the best and I love you a lot. If you guys have some free time and you like this kind of stuff, I have 2 other videos listed up here I think you guys would like. They're kind of relevant. But other than that, guys, thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And don't forget to comment what you thought that egg hatching Pokemon was in the comment section. I'd love to read that over and see what you guys thought. Thanks for watching. See you guys next time, if I'm lucky enough to have you. Peace!